What is up, everybody? We are here to fantasy book the road to WrestleMania 40. I just want to start this by saying I've always wanted to start really getting into wrestling videos, and so this is going to be our first real attempt. We're going to start by fantasy booking, which means this isn't what I think is going to happen. It's what I would like to see happen. I think it would be the best way to do it. In the words of Cultaholic, it's not what we think will happen, it's what we want to happen. And we're going to start with the Royal Rumble, going through the Elimination Chamber, and then into the both nights of WrestleMania 40. This is going to be based off the current roster. This isn't going to be based off any potential returns, unless there's somebody that's already kind of in the company, but not really, and that'll make sense later, trust me. And with the Royal Rumble being right around the corner, it's hard to kind of alter the way they've already booked it. So we're going to go with what we already know and build off of that. And because of that, we're going to start at the Royal Rumble. We have Roman Reigns defending the undisputed Universal WWE Championship against LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. Roman has to win here. There's no reason to take it away from him now, unless the point would be to try and do maybe Orton Cody at Mania instead, and then do Rock Roman without the title, but I don't think that's necessary. Keep the title on Roman, move on. Other matches we know about are Logan Paul defending the United States title against Kevin Owens. Logan Paul needs to hold on to it. He will lose it soon, but not here. I also think that they'll add a Rhea Ripley defending her women's title against Nia Jax, which she'll retain. Now let's get to the Rumbles themselves. For the Women's Royal Rumble, I think Bayley needs to win. I think it'd be great if her last elimination came against a Becky Lynch or a Bianca Belair. Now, I think Bianca Belair should be eliminated by Jade Cargill. I think Jade Cargill should make her debut in the Rumble and eliminate Bianca Belair, and that'll set up for things down the road. But all that matters here is Bayley wins the Rumble. On the men's side of things, however, it's more important that we talk about the things that go on during the match. I want AOP to come out and eliminate Bobby Lashley, even though they're not in the match, which will then lead to later the Profits coming out and distracting AOP and Lashley sneaking in to eliminate Karrion Kross. That'll further their feud, set up for stuff for them at the Chamber. Up next, a really important thing I want to happen at that Royal Rumble is I want Gunther to eliminate Brock Lesnar and then get eliminated by Chad Gable. Chad Gable getting the elimination on Gunther puts him back in the title picture, which we will set up for at the Elimination Chamber. And by Gunther eliminating Brock Lesnar, we set up for some other things too that we'll get to. The last two things that are important during the Rumble match that don't actually involve the winner are Jey Uso eliminating his brother Jimmy, but then being eliminated by Solo, thanks to Jimmy distracting him. And later in the match, entry number 30 being The Rock, which will make everyone think Rock is winning, just for Solo to come back out and eliminate him and stop The Rock from winning the Royal Rumble, which will then lead to our eventual final two, Damian Priest, Mr. Money in the Bank. I think it'll be a fascinating story to have Mr. Money in the Bank in the Royal Rumble, holding out, potentially being in a situation where he could win both world titles at Mania if he can win the Royal Rumble, to be lastly eliminated by CM Punk. Now, I know some people feel controversial about that, but this is going to be the whole point of Punk coming back. He's going to want a main event Mania. He's going to do so for the World Heavyweight Championship, and we'll get to that too. But that's how I would handle the Royal Rumble. The most important things to take away from here: no titles change at the Rumble. Punk wins the Men's Rumble. Bayley wins the Women's Rumble, and specific eliminations during the match will set up for things down the road. On that road to the next pay-per-view, the Elimination Chamber, we will have a plethora of matches. This is where I really got to get into that fantasy booking. I got to make this card from scratch. I got to make the Mania card from scratch. So here's the card that I've created. At Elimination Chamber, in a number one contenders women's chamber match, Becky Lynch will defeat Nia Jax, Piper Niven, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, and Kairi Sane. I wanted to do 3 from each brand, but that makes it so that you don't know which brand is going to do it. That way you don't know which brand the winner of the Rumble is going after, etc. Becky Lynch will win the Women's Chamber. After that, we have Seth Rollins defending successfully his title against Aussie native Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed needs to be well respected. He needs to get some love. And I think this is a great place for him to do so. Why not let him shine in a world title match in his home country before inevitably being beaten by Rollins, because it's not time for him to drop that title. Now, I will say, as a caveat, on this most recent episode of Raw, it looks like Seth Rollins may have suffered an injury. All of this is contingent on him not being hurt. In the event that he is hurt, we have Damian Priest cash in soon, maybe at the Royal Rumble. That just changes the final person in the Rumble. And then you put Bronson Reed in the chamber match instead of in a world title match. And you just have Punk beat Priest at Mania. It's a lot more lackluster, but it is what it is. Moving on, though, after Rollins defeats Bronson to retain the title, we have an Intercontinental Championship match. Gunther defending his title against Chad Gable because he feels disrespected that Chad Gable eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. But during this match, Brock Lesnar is going to show up. He's going to F5 Gunther. Put Chad Gable's lifeless body on top of Gunther. 1, 2, kick out. Brock Lesnar came out to cost Gunther the title, and it didn't work. Gunther gets up, mad, hurt, big chop to Gable, picks him up for that brutal powerbomb. Gable rolls through in a hurricanrana. Gunther, confused, stumbles to the corner, to which Gable grabs him and hits him with the beautiful Chaos Theory. Chad Gable wins the Intercontinental Championship in Australia at Elimination Chamber, thanks to interference from Brock Lesnar. And we set up for a WrestleMania match between Lesnar and Gunther, while taking the Intercontinental title off of Gunther without him having to lose clean. After that, Rhea Ripley will defend her title against a returning Liv Morgan, probably returns during the Royal Rumble. They renew their rivalry a little bit. I don't like having Liv Morgan lose here. The problem is that Rhea Ripley has already beaten everybody on the Raw roster that is credible, aside from Becky Lynch. And that's because they decided to do that Fatal 5-Way with all of their top contenders. And I would do Raquel Rodriguez here, but I know she's suffering from some health issues, so that just doesn't feel plausible. The only other option here would be putting in an NXT call-up from the Royal Rumble. The point here is Rhea Ripley wins, defends her title successfully. That's all that really matters for this. After that, we have the men's number 1 contender chamber match, where Cody Rhodes will win the chamber by defeating other competitors Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Shinsuke Nakamura from Raw, AJ Styles, and Australia native Grayson Waller from SmackDown. You got to get both of the Aussie boys in there. That's why we got Waller in there, and we got Bronson on the world title match. But Cody wins that. That sets up a program for him to get a world title match, finish the story. Now Punk and him both get to finish their stories, blah, 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 blah. While Drew will be sent further down the rabbit hole and figuring out how he's going to finish his story. Then we need a little bit of a lull match. It's messed up to say that this would be the lull match, but you always have to have a lull match in this kind of situation before the main event. This is where you do Karrion Kross and AOP, The Last Testament, versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, which I believe are going officially by The Pride. You definitely give the win here to Kross and AOP. Last Testament need the win more than Lashley and Profits. This is the path of building Karrion Kross up as reputable. Give him big wins on PLEs. And then finally, in the main event, for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns will defeat The Rock. The Rock being eliminated at the Royal Rumble in unfair fashion will lead to Nick Aldis giving him a title match at Elimination Chamber. The Rock will look like he's got it won, only for the Bloodline to interfere. Jimmy will interfere first. Jay will come out to make the save, but then Solo will sneak in And Solo and Roman will hit that beautiful Samoan Spike Spear combo to put The Rock away for the 1-2-3, setting up 3 different programs in this match alone. Roman's world title program will be away from The Rock. We'll set up for a Rock Solo program and a Jimmy J program. This is where we'll move on to WrestleMania. Now, in the time between, obviously we're going to establish that CM Punk is going to be declaring to go after the World Heavyweight Champions, Seth Rollins, which means by proxy, Cody Rhodes will go after the WWE Universal Champion, Roman, for a second year in a row. Whereas the Royal Rumble winner, Bayley, will choose to go after her own friend Io Sky after Damage Control kick out Bayley with Dakota Kai pulling the strings in the background. However, not too long after that, after the bridges have already been burnt, that's when Io, Kairi Sane, and Asuka will realize Dakota has been pulling these strings, resulting in them branching away from her, creating a new stable. Damage Control will crumble, and we will get a triple threat match at Mania between the original Damage Control members, champion Io Sky, Bayley, the Royal Rumble winner, and the Puppet Master herself, Dakota Kai, which will leave Elimination Chamber winner Becky Lynch to go after World Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. Now that we've established that, we'll also have some other feuds being set up along the way. We're going to have a lot of singles matches. We're going to do showcase tag team matches again for the men and women, like we did last year. I really liked that with having the 4 teams. It gave people a chance to be on the card. We're also going to actually put the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal back on WrestleMania. No more of this WrestleMania SmackDown. No. WrestleMania is WrestleMania. It's super long already. Use the time. On night 1 of WrestleMania 40, we're going to start with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And in that Battle Royal, Karrion Kross, thanks to the AOP, will win. Again, like I said, Kross needs to start winning on PLEs. This is an easy way for him to do it without him having to hurt anybody's builds or reputations or things like that. This is an easy way to start building him up as a credible person with a dangerous stable behind him. After that, we'll have an Intercontinental Championship ladder match. I love when they do the ladder matches for the Intercontinental title. I think it gives multiple people a chance to showcase themselves. And in this match, Chad Gable will defend the title against Xavier Woods, who will be in the match because Kofi Kingston is still not available after the beating he took from Ludwig Kaiser recently. And this will give Woods a chance to really showcase himself as a single star. We'll also have Sami Zayn return from injury, who is going to go after another man in that match, Drew McIntyre, who's trying to finish his story in a different way, so to speak. We'll also have big man Bronson Reed in this ladder match because I think he'll be able to really enjoy himself. He's a high flyer big man, and we can get some good work out of that. Originally, I was thinking Ivar for that slot just because of how great they've been pushing him, but I think Bronson Reed deserves the spot a little bit more. We can put Ivar in the Battle Royal and showcase him there. The final member of this match, so as I told you, defending champion Chad Gable, Xavier Woods, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, and eventual winner, Dirty Dominik Mysterio. Now, I know you're probably not happy about that. I understand. I don't blame you. But that's the point. Not all the good guys can win here. Nobody cares about the Battle Royal right now because it hasn't been used properly, and hopefully post-WrestleMania they build with it, but giving that to a heel doesn't matter. We need some bad guys to win. It's just the facts. And if they're not going to, then WrestleMania won't feel as important when the good guys do win. So, in this moment, we have Dominik Mysterio winning his first singles main roster championship in a match where he doesn't have to pin anybody. A match where he doesn't have to submit anybody. A match where JD McDonough can come help him. A match where Priest and Balor could come help him. A match where he is one of the more agile men here. A logical choice and a way to put a new title in Judgment Day because they might be losing some others. After that, we'll have one of two things. Either A, we have the men's tag team showcase title match, where they do the fatal 4-way tag team match, but it's for the titles, or we have the showcase not involving the titles as a number one contenders match. The difference is whether or not we're going to actually unify these tag titles permanently. We have the Raw Tag Team Championships and the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And we need to either rip them apart and put them back on their own shows, or we need to make one new title out of them. No more two belts for one title being defended. So, if we're going to separate them, one on one brand, one on the other, we do the tag team title showcase. 4 teams for the titles. If it's for the tag titles, you do Judgment Day defending against Raw Tag Team, The Awesome Truth. Because I really like what they've been doing with this. I feel like along the road to WrestleMania, Judgment Day is officially just going to destroy R-Truth. And if they keep doing the things they're doing with Miz and R-Truth, I would love it for them to be in the tag team title picture legitimately. And then from SmackDown, because it is a fatal 4-way for the unified tag titles, both brands deserve to be represented. So we have Judgment Day defending and Awesome Truth from Raw. On SmackDown side, we have Pretty Deadly, one of the more credible SmackDown tag teams. They may be annoying to some people, but they are a credible tag team, and they're one of the better heel tag teams over there. And newly reformed British Strong Style, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. In the event that we are going to split these tag titles, here's what I would do. I would have a double finish. I would have one of the tag teams from Raw and one of the tag teams from SmackDown both get a pin or a submission at the same time, and you split the tag titles back up like that. You have Awesome Truth pin one of the Pretty Deadly members, and you have one of the Pretty Deadly members pin, or the British Strong Style members pin the other Pretty Deadly. Do that. Have Pretty Deadly in there to take both pins. Have R-Truth pin Kit Wilson, and have Pete Dunne pin Elton Prince at the same time. Judgment Day doesn't even have to be involved. They lose their tag titles, and their tag titles get split in half. If that is not what they're going to do, and they're going to compress them into one title and give us one new title belt like they did with the Undisputed Universal Championship, then this will be a non-title showcase match. And it'll be Imperium and DIY from Raw, Pretty Deadly and British Strong Style from SmackDown. In this case, I would have one of the heel teams win, either Pretty Deadly or Imperium, preferably Imperium, just because they need some credibility and some wins under their belts, so preferably Imperium in that moment. If that's what we're doing, the tag titles will actually be defended on night 2, so we'll come to that when we get there. After whatever we do here, this is when we would have the Usos fight. Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, one-on-one, WrestleMania. You have to have Jey win. He's too over with the crowd. He could very easily be the person that they have go beat Dominik Mysterio for the newly won Intercontinental title down the road. Jey Uso needs that win. He's too popular. He's too fan-favored. I think that the Bloodline's going to have an interesting time at WrestleMania this year, if they do it the way I would do it. After that, you have the Women's World Championship match. Rhea Ripley defending her title against Becky Lynch, and she retains. Now, hear me out. I know that's kind of crazy to think about. I feel like we've been building towards Becky winning it. Here's why. This would be the one time that an interference is why somebody won a match. Becky Lynch gets distracted by none other than AJ Lee. The whole point? Get in the head of your husband's opponent later that night. And then down the road at Backlash, whatever you may want to do, we could then end up having a CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch feud. We've done that before with Becky and Seth when we did it with Corbin and Lacey Evans, Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Didn't go great back then, but it had its moments. So that's what we can lead to. But Rhea Ripley in the process successfully retains her title. After that, in the penultimate match of night 1, you have Solo Sikoa defeat The Rock clean in a Rock retirement match. A true passing of the torch to the youngest NOIE family member in the WWE today. Male, anyway. Obviously, The Rock's daughter is in, and she is quite young. But the Usos have been around for quite some time. They've been around for a decade. Roman over a decade, clearly on his way out the door. Solo, new to the game, and having him beat Rock clean would be huge. Rock wants that match because Solo cost him the title at Elimination Chamber. It leads in perfectly, and Solo becomes the savior of the bloodline because Jimmy had just lost, and it's going to be interesting the next night for Roman. And then in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania, you have the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins defending that title against Royal Rumble winner CM Punk. And Punk needs to win. I know it's not what people want to hear. Some people really aren't big on Punk. Some people are, and I think they should be. I think Punk's still really good at what he does. He deserves some respect. He deserves some love. But more than anything else, he is going to win that match, or should win that match, because WWE is going to want to double down on showing AEW superstars what they can get when they come to the WWE. Now, I understand Punk was there before, but it doesn't change the fact that recently he was with AEW. He was in their world title program. He was there. So was Cody. And these guys are getting main events at WrestleMania. Jade Cargill, she's going to have a feature match the next night as well. So a lot of AEW names, a lot of AEW winners in WWE is good for business in the sense of trying to get people to switch companies. Night 2 of WrestleMania starts off with Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. We know Brock doesn't want to wait, so he's going to want to go on first, and that's fine. He can go home quickly because Gunther is going to beat him clean. Right after that, that's where you do the men's tag team title match if they're not part of the showcase. In that title match, you would do Judgment Day versus the Awesome Truth, and the Awesome Truth would win in a 2-on-2 match instead of a fatal 4-way tag team match. Either way, I have Judgment Day losing their tag team titles, but it's okay because they kept their leader's title in Rhea Ripley, and Dirty Dom won a new title in the Intercontinental title. This will give a chance for Priest to start focusing on the world title, and then maybe have JD and Finn transition into the tag team titles, as they are both the Irishmen. They both have a history with one another, Finn being the guy that trained JD. They could then transition into the tag team title scene, keeping Judgment Day in the tag team title picture, but switching who is in the tag team title picture. And then giving JD a veteran of the business to work with, instead of having him do all his tag team stuff with Dominik Mysterio and having two lesser experienced individuals. You kind of split that experience up. After that, we have the WWE Women's Championship match where Bayley will defeat Io Sky and Dakota Kai in that triple threat match to win the Women's Championship. Bayley deserves her flowers. She has been a workhorse. She has been the only member of the Four Horsewomen that has not gotten the love that she deserves. No major WrestleMania moments, just nothing. And she deserves it. She's the only one that hasn't main evented a WrestleMania from the Four Horsewomen. She still won't here just because of how this WrestleMania has worked out. But hopefully maybe next year she can get in there. Honestly, hopefully the following year we get a fatal four-way between the Horsewomen. We'll see about that. It all depends on if Sasha actually comes back. I think that if she's going to come back, it's going to be at the Royal Rumble soon. Along with other people. Hopefully that's where we go, but this is where Bayley deserves her love. She wins that women's title from Io and Dakota and gets some vindication. After that, we'll have the U.S. title match where Logan Paul will defend the U.S. title against L.A. Knight. Yeah. And the winner will be L.A. Knight. Yeah. Because of course it would. Why wouldn't it be? Dummy. Yeah. LA Knight needs a title. He needs a win. He needs a Mania moment. It all makes sense. Take the title off of Logan Paul, and LA Knight will be a world hero for being the guy that beats Logan Paul for that title. After that, that's when we have Jade Cargill in her big shining moment, when she's going to defeat Bianca Belair clean. I think that the plan originally was Bianca and Charlotte. Charlotte's out with knee surgery. This is the best chance you're going to have to fix that and course correct for Bianca to be in a major story without her having to be in a title picture. I think that the title pictures have just shifted too much without that, and she can take a loss. It's okay. She's won at multiple Manias already. Jade needs that moment more. Again, it shows AEW that you know, hey, come to WWE and play ball. We'll make it worth your while, and it'll be a good match. After that, we have a bit of a lull match, but we have AJ Styles defeating Randy Orton. I think AJ needs that win a little bit more, especially with his switch to a heel side. Gives us a couple more heel wins, and Randy Orton doesn't mind doing that for somebody. That was just a match I threw in there. I'm not dead set on that one. That was just to try and break up the monotony of big name matches, marquee matches, and stuff like that. After that, we'll have the women's tag team title showcase. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, still holding on to those tag titles, will defend them in a fatal four-way against the Witches, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn. Returns at Royal Rumble, Naomi and Sasha Banks, and the Kabuki Warriors. And I have the Kabuki Warriors winning here. I'd be okay with Naomi and Sasha winning here. The only reason I picked the Kabuki Warriors instead of Naomi and Sasha is because trying to give some more heel wins, just to kind of butter everybody up for the upcoming main event. But I would put them on the Kabuki Warriors and then have them feud with Naomi and Sasha, and probably have Naomi and Sasha take those titles off of them down the road. Maybe even setting up a Naomi, Sasha, Bayley feud with Io and the Kabuki Warriors, which I think could be really good. We all know Naomi, Sasha, and Bayley are close friends. You could go down the road, WrestleMania Backlash, doing a 3-on-3 tag, things like that. Be an interesting program. We're getting ready for the main event, and we're going to have a nice episode of the Walla Effect, Walla Walla, with Austin Theory there to join them. They're going to be talking about things like how they're on WrestleMania, Savage, Kevin Owens, who was tormenting them for the past few months. It's a travesty that LA Knight took that title from Logan Paul, their friend, their mate, but at least LA Knight could do it when Kevin Owens couldn't. All of a sudden, Kevin Owens is going to interrupt. He's going to say, look, you know what? You guys want to be on WrestleMania? So do I. So how about we have a match? They're going to laugh at him. You don't have a partner. You don't have any friends. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody's here to help you. And Kevin Owens will go, well, that's the thing. I know somebody that doesn't really like either of you. He's right there. Now, there's two people that could come out here. Either John Cena, who's had a clear program with both of these men. I'm fine with that. Or Pat McAfee, also had a program with Austin Theory. A little bit of one with Grayson Waller, not too much, but blah, blah, blah. Either way, Kevin Owens and John Cena or Pat McAfee versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory in an impromptu match. They love to do these little impromptu matches at WrestleMania, especially with talk show people. You have the good guys win here, no matter which the Commodore of the good guys it is, Cena and Owens or McAfee and Owens. Either way, easy enough. And then we get to the main event with the undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the line. Roman Reigns defending that title against Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes needs to finish the story in a fantasy booking world. I understand that they might want Roman to pass Hulk Hogan's world title reign in days, and if they do, I respect it, and I won't even really be mad at it. But it's time. And if they don't do it here, there's never a point of doing it. They can't do it with Cody. They have to have him lose to someone else and have Cody finish his story somehow else. Now's the time. Now's the time. That is how I would book the road to WrestleMania, including the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and both nights of WrestleMania itself. And then you set up with storylines down the road after that. The only other thing I would add, you could have Priest cash in on Cody. End WrestleMania in heartbreak. It's okay to end pay-per-views in heartbreak. And have him ruin Cody's story. But that's how I would do it. I would have Priest cash in on Cody that night or the next night. You finished your story, and I finished. Cody, you wanted to finish your story. Well, good news, I finished it for you. Just like I finished your title reign. And then it makes up for the fact that they lost their tag titles, yada, yada, yada. He doesn't keep wasting his money in the bank, and that gives them an excuse to stay on SmackDown. But that is it. That is how I would do this. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think that some of these choices are absolutely fantastic, absolutely outlandish. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to in terms of potential wrestling content on this channel. We're going to definitely do prediction videos. I'm going to try and do a prediction video for every pay-per-view of the year, at least WWE, if not also NXT and AEW, but we'll see. I'm also going to try and do a video right before the Royal Rumble, predicting potential Royal Rumble entrance, surprise entrance, so to say. Let me know if you guys are looking forward to something like that. And with all that being said, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully we can make some wrestling content a regular thing on the channel. As always, I am Pip. Y'all are the greatest, and when in doubt, we'll see you next time. See ya!